Welcome back to the Dream Stream. I am your host, Yiskah Koock. Said this already in the beginning, but with my dear dream sister, Ellen Ronis. And this is why we never connected or hooked up because, well, it was a misunderstanding, no fault of Ellen's own. And then she was at pottery class. So I'm just assuming that's the most recent thing you've made.
It is one of the most recent things that has been made. Yes.
I love it.
It's kind of a new color combination for me.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell the color, being on the computer. Is it like a
Kind
dusty, midnighty blue?
No, it's kind of, oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. It looks blue. It's
Or
kind of
gray?
a yellowy, goldish kind of
Yes,
yellow.
I do see that.
And this is like, it's kind of a gray, like a
Okay.
greenish gray.
It looks sky-like.
Yeah.
Darker
Yeah, it
bottom.
does, right? Like a sunset.
And sun, yeah. Really so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for judging that. Yeah, my other hobby.
Wonderful. So Ellen, what did you say?
More than a hobby.
More than, oh, okay, wonderful. Good. So Ellen and I had been talking previous to this about, we're both on wild dream journeys right now. I've just been dreaming a lot, which is wonderful. Thank you, universe. It seems like you may also be dreaming a lot. So I was thinking I was going to start because we talk about that dogs is a big theme for us at the Dream Stream to talk about. I had that written in the description. I wanted to tell two snippets of my first dog, Redwood Forest is her full name. We called her Redwood. She is beautiful. I used to live in Nederland, Colorado, up in the mountains, and I was going for a job, whatever, a job. I wanted to get a job at the Stagecoach Inn. And then I was on my way walking back to where I lived at the time on Caribou Road. And I saw a sign for free puppies. And the mother, just this gorgeous, full bred border collie. And then the father was just some stray mountain dog who came upon her in her time of heat. So, but Redwood. And so my Redwood is like your Seamus, Ellen. We've talked about it, both having like a shepherding dog mixed with some chow. Mm-hmm. Redwood had the little purple spots on her tongue.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
But
right.
I don't know that you ever met Redwood.
No, I never did. Only
I had her. You knew Toby.
Toby, I knew. Yeah.
My love also. Yeah. Redwood was my first dog. I had lots of cats. I even had hamsters growing up. I had lots of fish, but we never had a dog. And so when I was 20, and again, living in Colorado, and I saw the sign for free puppies, I was just blown away. And one of the little puppies escaped from, I should have known then that this would become an escape artist that she is, well, she was, and ran outside the fence and like came and I feel like she chose me, sat on my lap, and that's so funny. I didn't remember that she had escaped her original enclosure as a puppy, because that was the big thing about her. She could escape any situation. I think I've talked about that on the Dream Stream. So I had, now the more recent dream, last night, I dreamed that Redwood was here and she was like snuggling with a teddy bear that my mom got me when I was at sleepaway camp at age 10. It was like a scruffy bear who I still have. And I gave to Phelan when he was little. And then I gave to Lev when he was little. And so Redwood was snuggling with Scruffy Bear in my dream. But then I thought, oh, is it my big black cat Puma? Because I don't know. Dreams can be a little murky that way. And that was the second. Oh, and I was calling to my sister, bring your camera, because I'm using my son's camera right now, his phone. Bring your camera. I really want to take a picture of the cuteness of Redwood snuggling with Scruffy Bear. So all of that brings me back to my youth, not my youth, but like younger years. And then the second dream I had, which came prior to that one, I dreamed that Redwood she was like in between like a mattress and then what do you call the mattress under the mattress?
Bed frame?
But not the frame, but there's like a springboard or something. What do you call it?
Box spring.
Box spring. She stuck her head out in between the mattress and the box spring. She wasn't getting smushed or anything, but I was like, oh my gosh, you're here. I wish I had known. I was also feeling that. And then she came out and she was, animals will come nose to nose up to you as a greeting. She came nose to nose to me, and she kept and now this is more of a cat thing than a dog thing, but she kept rubbing up against me, my leg, my arm, as the kiddies do. If I'm in the kitchen and they're like doing their little sensual thing. And so I was just wanting to share that because we talk about dogs in our description of the dream's dream. And Ellen, you were saying something about a dream about Seamus.
Yeah. So this is interesting. I mean, it's kind of an unusual thing to share because it's not my dream, but my housemate shared with me a dream that he had about Seamus. And the dream was that there's a sort of I don't know a cupboard of some sort in the kitchen. And that's in waking life, in real life, there's a cupboard there. And it does have sort of objects of some little spiritual things, but also candles and pictures and things. And in his dream, he was laying down a black cloth across the tabletop, the cupboard top, and then candle in the center, and he didn't actually see Seamus, but he knew that it was for Seamus. And this was just a few days ago. Seamus passed 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago. So
Redwood passed when I was 35. So
so that was
a long time ago.
Really have really sweet and whatever, but he mostly stayed in my room and stayed with me, and he didn't have like a super close relationship with him and me.
Right.
So it was just
Wow.
I don't know what to make of it.
What does that mean to you?
Well, what that it definitely feels like it makes me think of it when in the Jewish religion, when somebody passes, you wear black armbands, or you put a covering, like a black covering over your mirrors, so that I'm not exactly sure why they do that.
So you're not focused on vanity.
Is that's what it is?
I don't know. I'm just making sense of it.
Yeah, who knows? I should know. And, but definitely black feels like mourning. It feels like
it does. Yes. Yeah. And the candle,
like an altar. It felt like to me. I don't know what it was for him because it's his dream. Who knows?
But beautiful.
Like so honoring of my precious being, like this precious thing that was so precious to me.
I love it.
Honoring that just feels really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something, I know you didn't see part 1 of this yet, but in part 1 of this episode, I'm talking, and I'm very excited to be talking about intuition because, I had felt like, I do feel like, of course, I get lots of numinous dream energy and guidance, and I've been paying attention to my dreams, but I don't know that anyone has ever been able to pass something to me telepathically, although I always played those games as a little girl. Okay, what color am I thinking of?
Right.
And then there's however many colors there are. It's that chance, 1 in that you can get it right. Similarly, what number between 1 and 20? I always play games like that. I'm always interested in supernatural ways of communicating. So, this feels similar in that your housemate is dreaming for you. It's almost like one of my dream teachers, Robert Moss, yours as well, talks about you can you can dream a good dream for someone else, that you can share the kind of psychic energy with another. And I didn't know that and maybe I have, I just couldn't think of any time really that I felt so connected. But what I was receiving wasn't my own stuff. It was this other woman's.
Yeah, well, that is so interesting, especially now, because there is such a collective consciousness, right? I mean, some
Yes.
people call it the collective unconscious, but I don't,
Yeah.
and I like to call it the collective like there's a certain
Yeah.
consciousness that's happening. And
Yes.
even if it is unconscious, but for me, I experience it as like we're all sort of on about the same thing right now.
Right.
Like our entire world is kind of, give or take,
Yes.
on about, like, especially with the pandemic and all
Yes.
that entails and all that has affected and all that has destroyed or created or whatever.
Right.
And we're all like, whoa, like, you know, a little bit like, how do we manage this and how do we manage ourselves? And looking
climate change is huge also.
War in Afghanistan, you know, it's endless.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going there, but my
Right.
point being that,
Right.
you know, I think it's easier. I think it's easier to tap into the collective right now.
Yeah.
Like to dream for somebody else, because we're all dreaming this. We're not dreaming the same thing, obviously.
We're dreaming for the collective.
Yeah, it feels less. I don't want to say.
I like that, Ellen, the collective conscious.
You know,
The collective unconscious.
Yeah.
Tired of being told I'm unconscious.
Yeah, no, I'm conscious, and everyone else, I don't know. I'm calling it that. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think sometimes even think it's for ourselves. You know, it's like that when we share dreams, we can relate so well, right? We can relate so well. For example, we just shared before we came online here about dreams that we were both having regarding our hair, and they were both about our hair being longer
than it is.
What?
And if I would say to you, if it were my dream, which of course it was,
right.
When in my life did I have hair like that?
Right.
And that maybe there's something from that period of my life that's needing my attention.
Yeah, could be. I mean, yours was very particular in a certain way and different than mine, but still, just that collective theme.
But we always talk about we'd like a theme in our dream. So super excited, and I would love to talk more about active imagination. But I don't know that we'll have time because we're going to do Ellen's dream. But I've been doing a lot of work in the liminal space between waking and sleeping. That's really become prayer time for me, and a healing space for me, and a healing space I've co-created, you know, with all that is. And I would love to share that because, well, I'll say this just really quickly, which is I've believed in prayer. I'm very faithful. You know, I mean, yes, hard things happen, but it was something I might want to yell at God about, or like scold God about. You don't tell me when she dies, I tell you, you know, or whatever. But it's relationship. It's still in relationship. I never felt like, oh, there is no God. Life is too hard, you know, but it was relationship, but I was being the bratty child of Big G. But I was thinking, you know, I've always believed in prayer and the miracles that can come. But I was thinking, if I really believe in that, then shouldn't I be really trying to manifest that in my mind? Because I mean, we have this big brain, you know, people say we only have a certain percentage of it that we actually use. And, you know, there's so much we can do in our own imaginations, you know, and no one can tell us it's not real, you know, if it's real to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that you've been doing that. And, I recently came for a visit.
Yay.
Those of you who are listening, I came to New York and Yiskah and I visited together in person, and she gave me this beautiful rock stone conglomerate thing. It's not, it's hard to see so well, but it's so, I just absolutely love it. And she just randomly picked it out of a collection of rocks and just kind of felt like this was for me. And it was to help me to get into that space too. That
Yes.
liminal
Yes.
space where I can connect with spirits and connect with ancestors and things that are not so rooted on the earth plane, which is where I mostly operate from. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate what you're doing so much. It's very inspirational. So I'd love to, maybe just continue as we go along to have more conversation about
Okay.
that, what that
And
looks like.
yeah, and I'm happy in future Dream Stream podcasts also to speak more about that. But just as like a little enticement,
Yeah, a little bit
it's
like stay tuned for the next time, because we're going to be for that juicy stuff.
because I really feel like I'm learning so much these days. I mean, I am learning so very, very much from different sources, from YouTube even, very much, and from whatever. And so it's very powerful to authenticate what I had been feeling that I needed to offer to the world as far as healing, like as far as prayer. It's so powerful to as I said, co-create this space in my imagination and and then fill it with those whom I know need healing. And then when there's other steps to this, but one of them is when the healers, when the wounded become the healers. And so after I prayed for, this circle in my prayer cathedral in my head, I have, and this is the third step, I invite everyone to put healing intention into the middle of the circle. And then we send that out around the globe.
So beautiful.
And
I really believe in that power of that. I really believe in the power of that energy. Yeah.
I also do. Yeah. Actually, I've been getting very into Anna Breitenbach, who is an animal communicator. She's, what does she say? She interspecies communication. And she's talking and the animals are answering. And she's, of course, they don't speak English, but she's receiving what they're offering in an image, and then she translates what that means. I mean, she had one example where she was talking to a leopard, and she said, "Oh, she was saying he was so taken aback," and then she described what the image was. She said, "I had an image that I was walking, I was abruptly stopped, amazed, or whatever she was conveying through this animal, or he was conveying through her, I should say." And that's exactly how I had experienced the intuition that I shared in the beginning, which is in images. My body felt, I felt sick. I felt like I was being tossed around on the waves. I felt like my sailboat lost its rudder or whatever, and I really think I was receiving that. It wasn't my feeling, but I felt the person that had sent it to me telepathically. I felt that, because I had so much more to say. But stop me now. I'll just pause because I want to get to your dream. But I'm super, super excited to be exploring this.
Well, perhaps, our next time can be focused on that. Like actually,
Okay.
yeah. because I do, it is enticing to me too, and I hope it's enticing to the listeners to
As do I.
like that,
Yeah.
because I think not only can we heal ourselves with that, or at least just kind of get ourselves a little bit more centered, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's certainly for my own desire, my own longing to
Yeah.
keep myself as grounded and centered in myself
Yes.
as possible, because that's all I can really do. I can't
Exactly.
control what's happening around me at all.
Yes.
So I love it personally, and I think that, yeah, sending that energy out, it's like we vibrate, we pray, that vibrates at a certain level, we send that out,
Here's
out.
yeah, exactly that. And here's what I was
It's good for
saying
everybody.
earlier. I feel like, of course, I've heard we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah, I've heard
And
that
I
many
love that.
times. Yeah,
Love it. What did
yeah.
you say?
I said I've heard that many times.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you may have said, you know, who's quoted as saying that. I don't know. But I started thinking like we're transistor radios somehow. We're like transisting
Yeah. Yes, I think that's
our
absolutely true.
something, and I couldn't quite figure it.
The clear, I'm going like this. The
The
clearer
antenna.
antennas are, you know, like the more available our antennas are, whatever, or open, which I think
Yes,
happens from going inside,
yes,
that connection and grounding and meditating and
exactly.
falling in. I think the more we can pick up, and the more we
Yes,
can get out, and the more we can
yes,
receive.
yes.
So
So, and this woman, Anna, who interspecies communication, she says, you just have to tune in to, like, she said, picture it's like a transistor radio. You have to just tune into baboon when you're going to be trying to communicate
right,
with baboon.
right.
Or like turn the dial and,
Turn the dial.
you know, black puma, you know, it's like, just have to, all these different wavelengths.
Totally.
And
So
so
cool.
vibrational healing and whatever.
Yeah, no, I think I really, yes, big yes on all that.
Yeah.
Like, really, really a cool thing. And why not? Let's do it next time. Like maybe
Yeah.
even go into a little bit of a meditation or something we
Yeah.
can do now if you like. I mean,
I would love to share more about the journeys that I'm going on, but not right now, but I'd love to hear your dream.
Okay. So, okay. It's funny. I have these themes that they're getting rather tiresome. Some of the themes, which is interesting. Yeah. I mean, one of them is about, one of it's just about money. Like, it's just, you know, it's about feeling like I have to keep working to, you know, I won't even go into the dream, but it's just about money. So I'm just going to like, let that dream go and just, I still have some mishugas, as we say, as our people say, about money. So I'm working on that, you know, to have a better relationship with it. And I am, but just, so that was one dream, and work too much on that. So this is a quickie. I'm at an art camp in the woods, and there was a big building kind of in the woods, and it was, I had set up all my art supplies on a big table in this big space, and there were a lot of tables around, which is another theme I've had also, about art spaces and woods and art space. Those two things are often themes too. And all of a sudden, all the people who were set up started to go downstairs into this other space and set up down there. And I was like, left by myself upstairs. Like I felt, you know, I felt abandoned. Like they were all trying to just get away from me. So that's the whole dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have a title for this dream?
Where'd you go?
Where'd you go? All right, I'm going to do this totally out of order. If this is my dream, I think I'm asking myself, my self capital S, where'd you go? Where did you go? Because I was looking for you. And I felt abandoned without you. I need spiritual guidance in my life. I need a loving connection with my deity. You know, I I rely on that. I rely on that. And so my first thought is just like talking to myself. Where'd you go? Are you?
And that actually,
Or am I talking to God? You know, like, where'd you go?
it makes a lot of sense, particularly around my creative process.
Okay.
Because the creative process really, for me, it isn't about like, oh, I'm going to make a picture of a horse or something, you know, and then because that's all in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And then I try to do I don't work like that. I mean, I could, but I don't. And I don't judge that. It's just like, for me, art is a process. And so it's like,
Yeah.
if I've abandoned myself or, you know, abandoned that sense of connection to God or a great spirit, you know,
Yes.
and my art is going to be empty or I'm not going to
Yes.
have inspiration. So I like that. I didn't think of that at all. Like I kind of thought of it as, you know, my abandonment issues, but that's
Yeah.
it's
Right. I
almost
mean,
obvious, you know.
Jeremy Taylor says there's many ways to interpret a dream, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that too, possibly. If it's my dream, I feel like that's likely also possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do I have a sense of what kind of art I was setting up on that table?
No, some kind of painting, but I don't know what
Okay.
specifically.
Okay.
Painting, yeah, like paints and brushes and things like that.
All right, that the setup.
Which
So
is something I'm actually wanting to. I mean, I always paint, but I've been wanting to. I usually do watercolors, and so it's on a table, and it's kind of small. And I've been really wanting to get on like a big canvas.
Oh, love it.
I'm trying to reorganize this space behind me, which is a little bit
I love it.
not
From
organized.
chaos to creation.
I'd like to get a little less chaotic so that I can actually set up a space and feel
Yes.
like I can actually, you know, have my paints out and leave
Yes.
everything out and just see what happens and
Beautiful.
try to touch in. So, you know, I think that, you know, the abandonment thing isn't real anymore. I mean,
Right.
You know, sure, that's just kind of what happened. Whatever. You know, we all have some.
Yeah, I think we all feel that.
Yeah,
we are, because we are, I mean, not abandoned, but we're, even our incarnation into this global world, the earth, whatever, is almost, it's like an abandonment from the heavens, you know.
That's kind of that's the creation theory, right? I mean, isn't it like, you know, the first,
oh, when they're cast out of the garden,
not the original sin, but you know, that we
what are
became,
you, Christian? It's not the original sin.
God, you know, and therefore I don't know what it's all about. It's somewhere in the Bible.
We were cast from the garden.
Cast from the garden
And I want to just say, because a lot of our sisters and brothers are Christian, but I want to just say that when how I've learned from mystical Judaism is so the earth is called Adamah, and then Adam is the first man,
yes,
or earth being.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an idea that the word Selah, which can mean rib, it also means side. Mm-hmm. So when, you know, this Christian mythology that and it's probably Jewish, also mainstream mythology, from the man's rib came the woman. Mm-hmm. But I have teachers who taught me from the, you know, side and side. The first human was split to be male and female. He created them. I mean, that's from the Bible. He mm-hmm. created male and female. He created them. Mm-hmm. And so and that's, you know, women are not men's possession. We don't have to obey our husbands. And I'm sorry mm-hmm. if anybody disagrees with that. Yeah. But anyone that it might be an affirmation, I'm very glad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was a version, but but okay. Yeah.
I know. This is the minor opinion, you know, I like the real mystical minor opinions, because they go a little bit out there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind that. It's just that, yeah, we just went from something, you know, from where were we, and then we ended up the original sin.
Yeah. Oh, the original sin. Yes. So
anyway, I don't know how we got there, but
The
it's all interesting.
abandonment. That's
Yeah,
where how we got there. We
that's
came with
right.
abandonment.
Well, and I also think just on a purely sort of, I don't know, psychological level, like people in of our generation, I know you're a little bit younger, but still like um, our parents were not what they are now. Like
Yeah,
parents now are much more involved in their children's life
right.
for the most part. I'm
Ours
going to
ignored us. Ours weren't interested at all.
right, go play. It was like, go outside, sure.
Yeah,
I'll call for you at 6 o'clock when it's dinner time. And I
exactly.
had no idea what we were doing, who we were hanging out with.
Yeah, your mom or dad would call a lot of
Yeah,
the neighbors' houses to
yeah,
see
right.
the
Or they scream,
elementary.
Ellen!
Yeah, Jessica,
Anyway,
dinner
so anyway, I don't feel like I need to kind of go too much more into that, but I really like I like your interpretation, and I think the thing that's cool about dream interpretation or sharing dreams
Yeah,
is the other perspective, which maybe not,
exactly.
or like I might say, that's interesting.
Yeah, that might not
Is it
be
really?
something you jive to or
Oh,
not.
but when it does, it's kind of like, it is
Yes,
just, it's literally like taking another side of my own head and going, over that way,
yes.
that's interesting. Like I hadn't thought about that. And that actually feels like a potential truth. So thank you. I like that.
Well, and what you just said actually brings me back to talking about this whole imaginal realm, which
Mhm.
I think now is that what Robert Moss calls it, or that was like Jung, and then Robert Moss calls it something similar, active imagination. I
And
think
he
Robert
calls it
Moss
imaginal realm and Jung calls it active
active
imagination.
imagine. Oh, okay, it was one or the other. So I had back in June, I had dreamed that that I was doing healing work in my head. Many of our viewers know I have MS, and unfortunately, sometimes I fall. And the worst of it is if I fall and bang my head. And thankfully, that doesn't always happen, but it has happened. And it happened, I guess I had like my poor skull. I had a bang on the head, and it was a bump, and it was painful to the touch. And I dreamed that I was in an imaginal realm, a healing. Did I dream it was an imaginal realm? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I just dreamed that I was doing like healing on my head, and that led me quite possibly to then create this healing cathedral, um, to offer prayer to others. And I think I'm not going to talk about my. I'll tell you. Sorry, listeners. Some things we just shouldn't talk about. I feel keep it sacred. And similarly, some dreams aren't meant to be worked on. Some
Yeah.
dreams are just like,
Yeah.
that was really, intense, and I don't want to even touch it. I want you to just have it to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
meditate on. So,
Well, yeah.
so
Can I just respond to that?
yes, please.
Just so the cool thing about that is that you've been doing this amazing healing work on the conscious level because of
Right,
a dream that you had. Like
right.
that's so cool.
I know. I
That right
know.
there,
I
right?
love that.
Like
I
your
love that
dreams
I can
lead us to
trace it
amazing
back.
things.
Right, June. It's a couple of months ago. So
Yeah.
that's about right. I mean, it's like I keep working on, and I keep seeing it in different forms. So I don't mind. I'd love to share about the prayer cathedral, but it's what comes next, which I'll be happy to share with you, Ellen, or listeners possibly, in a little bit of time.
We'll figure it out for next
We'll
time.
figure it out. But with this cathedral, like I didn't know, like, should I build it in my mind out of stone, like ancient architecture, or like beautiful church or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I tried that one night, and then I'm saying I'm learning so much, it's true. So then I was learning, no, it needs to be in a grove of trees. And so then it became that. And then, well, that wasn't really it either now it's kind of wrapped with like silk around the whole thing, purple, and like I think it has also like a royal red color. Now it's like the Mishkan that I'm traveling through the desert of life with.
Wow.
And it's I also have a very special person, Anna, who I keep talking about in this podcast, who I've watched a number of documentaries about her interspecies communication. And she also does it with bugs. She does it with plants. You should see her work she did at Findhorn. You know, she is very in tune with all of nature. And so she's sitting by a stream or sitting, you know, at a bed of a stream, and she picks up a big oblong stone and she's going to stand it up, and she just goes to stand it up. And I've tried doing some stone things before, and you know, you do it until you get it. Nope, first try, whoop, and it was standing and it was perfect. She was really in the flow. So she was outside of this prayer cathedral. So the stream, and then up from there is where, and now I see I need to do more with stones around this prayer cathedral or something. To continue. Yes, I keep changing, I keep learning, you know, and yeah.
And I think it's personal too, right? Just it's your own personal inner experience and what it is
absolutely,
that
absolutely.
your soul is needing. What does it need to feel like, whatever, safe, held, connected, all of that. So whether it's colors or textures or parts of nature, you know, like, right, that's cool. And that you just keep trying things.
Yeah, right. You just keep trying different things. And there's been people who just wander in to the prayer cathedral. Oh, hi, I didn't expect to see you here today. And then I offer them, you know, and as I'm saying, it's so cryptic, whatever, I'm learning so much. But like, for instance, I'm learning that I need to not only pray for the people, I need to greet them, every single one, eye to eye, to say namaste, you know, or a silent bow, as Anna says. You know, I need to address them. I can't just stick them in the prayer cathedral. Like there's a lot that needs a
so it's personal.
Yeah.
Becomes more personal connection.
Yeah. Yes. So one last thing about this, or maybe it might be the last thing I say about this, but so I was quite a deadhead in my younger years, in the, you know, late 80s, early 90s.
You know, and you still are, so don't even try to hide that.
Well, that has to do with the long hair and the tree. It's beckoning me back to my younger years. So at one point, so anyone who goes to a show, they know, you know, there's the first set, and then there's intermission, and there's the beginning of the second set, but then they pause for drums and space. And so I had a lot of fun at drums. I mean, I know I am a little bit handicapped, but you can still dance. And there's that wonderful lyric, and Dead and Company actually played this song. And if I can't dance, I will crawl across the floor. If I can't dance, I'll crawl. And I'm like, yes, because that
love it.
Awesome.
Love it. Yes.
So this was during space, and I was sitting down, and the full moon is rising, and this was in Bethel Woods. This is the place of the original Woodstock, and full moon is rising, and so I'm listening to space. I didn't feel like moving the body at that moment. I was just staring at the moon, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get home till super late tonight, and I'd probably be too tired to do the prayer cathedral. But I decided I did a meditation with intention. I wish there was a way to like combine those two words, Probably not, because that's the opposite of meditation. It's like bringing the ego mind into it.
Oh, right. Right, bringing the brain and the mind, right?
Right. And so I was just meditating. I, created the prayer cathedral as it has evolved to be, and I was saying my prayers for whomever, and then I didn't do the second piece of it, but then I was like, okay. And when I looked away from the moon, from my meditation, there was a couple had brought their dogs with them, which may or may not have been the best thing for the dogs, have such good hearing, but I'm not making any judgment. And when I turned around, I saw one of the dogs just staring at me with such tranquility in its eyes and its gaze. And I was like, okay, this is probably like the first step, get into this real deep place before communicating with the animal. You need to be there to hear their messages.
Sure.
Right. So, and I felt like, wow, this dog, like love from this animal, like it was like we understood each other in that moment.
Sweet.
I just want to say, and this is just kind of funny, this is just for laughs, that I used to take a lot of acid. That was always part of my hallucinogenics were always part of my Grateful Dead years, young as I was. But I don't do that anymore. I'll smoke marijuana, but on trip. But I felt like I was like saying to my friend, I was like, I feel like, and I've never believed in this before because it's never happened before, but I feel like I'm having a flashback. I really felt like I was really high on not anything that I had, consumed. And then I realized I'm in between, I'm switching medicines. So I'm getting off of one medicine. And I remember when I got on that medicine, the adjustment for my body to acclimate to it, I was so dizzy and so like spacey. And I think similarly, now that I'm getting off of it, I've been having this like half of a pill every couple of days. I was feeling that way, but it was funny to then attribute it to a flashback. It felt like that. But and I realized
It was, and I don't know. I don't really know how flashbacks actually work, but maybe it was a flashback.
Maybe, but I think that just the transition for me, my body, had did its dreamy work on my body and my mind. So that was wonderful. I had a really good time at the show.
Sounds like a wonderful experience. Sounds fun.
Yes.
Special.
So is there anything you would like to know about the dream you shared?
No, not really. I feel like we hit upon what feels important about it.
Yeah, wonderful. And your reason for saying why you like doing dream work so much, it's exactly what I would say about group dream work, because the more people, the more perspectives.
Right.
So, it's like, well, this nurse says this about the physical body, and this writer has this to offer, and oh, this artist or whomever, or this teacher, whomever. And just things that I wouldn't even think of because it's not coming from my own experience. But then I have that the aha moment. And that's
exactly. Yeah.
a wonderful thing about doing
it's exciting actually to have a different perspective other than the one that you always have, right? Because you're in your own mind. So you're always going to have that same thought or perspective on a thing. And
I think we've gotten to the point where we're doing dream work in our dreams. It's like I every now and then I'm like having a dream and I'm like, oh, like the different part of myself is like, that's an interesting symbol. That's what do you think that means?
The dream within the dream within the dream.
Right. So, well, what do you think, Ellen? Should we stop this podcast?
I do have other dreams, but I think it doesn't seem right to go on with them. I feel like
Okay.
we've kind of, we did a bunch. We did a bunch.
Yeah. We could also end this and then jump right into episode 75 and
we
share more dreams.
we could do that.
Would you want to?
I don't know. Why don't we just finish up and then we can discuss?
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, just thank you, listeners, and thank you, Ellen, for listening to my process. And like I know. What did you say? You said something woo woo. You said woo, like you introduced me to that phrase woo woo, like
woo woo, like out there, yeah.
Out there. So I know this sounds woo woo, but I think there's a lot more to a human being than just the physical. And then
God. That's not woo woo to me. That's
not woo woo. But what I mean to say is beyond physical, beyond, or I don't know if it's beyond the soul or within the soul. I just believe that there's so much here. And what I found myself saying at the Dead and Company show too, what I loved about it is so many generations of people. So like even above my generation, my parents' generation, it's like the original hippies, right? And then I was born 1970, and then there was us, and then and then there would have been like whomever, and then next. There were so many parents there with their teenage son or her twin teenagers, or I think all the kids were teenagers. A girl was there with her father, or maybe even her grandfather, I don't know the relation. And that felt just amazing that they could be sharing it all with each other. But I found myself saying to one young woman and her mom, they were thanking me for something. I think I probably got out of the line somewhere and let them ahead, and they thanked me. And I said, well, what we learn here in the Dead community or elsewhere too is to be kind. Be kind. And I said to the young woman, and why not be kind? We always hear like, oh, you don't know what somebody else is going through. Well, yeah, but not even for that reason. Just be kind for kindness sake.
Right.
Be kind because you have a kind heart.
Right.
And yeah, so maybe it'll get you there to think, well, we don't know what someone else is going through. But then there's even a deeper, reason to be kind for its own sake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's great. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Doesn't have to be for any reason, just because.
I learned that from Anna. She said, like, be thankful to the fish for its own sake. And then I brought it farther in my mind, like, I might have in the past said, thank you for offering your life that I can eat. This is how it helps me. Thank you for your sacrifice to me. But yeah, it doesn't, there's something even higher than that. It has nothing to do with me.
Right. It's like the isness of the concept, right? The isness of kindness.
Thank you for your being fish.
Right.
And then if I'm going to eat you, that's a different thing, but that's not what we should feel. No shoulds.
Yeah. Yeah.
We might feel thankful when we're eating, getting strength and eating something yummy. But even if we hadn't had anything to do with
it, just the existence of the fish.
Yeah. So Anna taught me that. That's another of the things that I'm learning so much these days.
Right. It's wonderful. Wonderful. It feels like you're really deepening your practice and deepening your kind of experience of the unseen world.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. And, as always inspires me. So, yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Ellen, for sharing your dream. And again, I apologize for our misconnect with meeting up to do this.
No worries. Yeah. I think I just want to say about that. We had a little miscommunication and about our timing. And I think that the reason that I was upset was because I was just disappointed.
You were in pottery class.
No, I wasn't in pottery class.
But you were.
What I was saying was, had I known that we weren't going to meet, I
Oh,
could have pottery. But
ah,
I made a commitment because I thought we were going to meet. So I was upset about that, but I was really just disappointed because I wanted to hang out with you.
yeah, I know.
I wanted to do this. That's all.
The thing is, one will send a message to the other, and the other won't read it possibly till the next day. And
yeah, well, yeah.
today.
Too many avenues of communication, right?
I
There's
know.
email, there's messenger, there's this and that, and yeah, it's too many different things. So that's not anything anybody, any of our listeners
not
worry about, but
not necessary to
we'll
worry about
amongst ourselves.
amongst ourselves. So, listeners, of course, we're very glad that you joined us in our exploration, and also regularly welcome you to email me. I think there is a Dream Stream link or page rather on Facebook, and you can message me directly, and we can do other people's dreams as well. And I look forward to that. I hope that will be.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
A whole different psyche.
Yeah, that, and again, tapping into the collective unconscious. I mean,
the collective conscious.
I might title this. I'm going to title this episode "The Collective Conscious." It's perfect. Okay, Ellen.
Hey, it's wonderful to hang with you as usual, and see you next time, listeners. Hopefully,
you'll join us. Listeners, Holomod Metukim. Sweet dreams.
Dreams. Bye.